Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Saturday, May 28th, Ian Cameron, our weekend man, Vito, joining us as always on a Saturday and Sunday show as he's getting ready for UEFA Champions League final action today. Liverpool and Real Madrid will do battle for the UEFA Champions League, the most prestigious, I guess, club soccer prize that there is to achieve.
I think Jimmy Murphy is a big Liverpool fan.
Yes. And so, yeah, Jimmy Murphy is. And he already said on yesterday's show, take Liverpool. So no bias there. No bias whatsoever for Jimmy with that opinion. But no, that's coming up later today. Vito's headed to his local watering hole there in Riga and in Latvia to watch it. So I know he's looking forward to that. But before we do get to that and let Vito go on his drinking ways, we've got a show to do. We've got a Saturday game in the National Hockey League tonight. Just one game. Tonight, Carolina, New York Rangers, Game 6. We will preview that in just a second. We do want to mention there is no NHL games tomorrow, but we do have a show tomorrow still at noon Eastern. Same time as today. We will be on, me and Vito, and because we have a special guest already booked, and I booked this like over a week ago, so I didn't want to change it. We'll do a conference finals preview show tomorrow. You know, that's essentially what we'll end up doing tomorrow. And actually, we've got a guest on Monday, and there may not be any games on Monday either. So, but we will have shows tomorrow and Monday, and we'll just do conference finals previews with our guests. And that's what we'll do tomorrow with Tyson Brower is going to be our guest tomorrow. Matt White's going to be on Monday. And then Tuesday, when the conference finals actually get underway, it'll be Game 1, Edmonton, Colorado. We're going to get our wish. Everybody in the hockey world, they've had wet dreams about the possibility of an Oilers Avalanche Western Conference Finals, and we are finally going to get it, and it's going to be exciting. That's going to start Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we're going to have two guests. We're going to have Eddie Lack, and we're going to have Casey Nelson joining us on the Tuesday show. And then Tuesday, we've got our BetCast returning. They're not going to be Tuesday every week necessarily the rest of the way. It's going to be dependent upon when these games are going to happen. But we will be doing a BetCast Tuesday night for Game 1, Edmonton, Colorado, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, which is the start time for Game 1. What a way to start our conference finals BetCasts, being able to do Game 1 of that series, Avalanche Oilers, on Tuesday night. And then we will be on Friday night this week. This is when we start doing 2 BetCasts per week. So we'll have another BetCast on Friday night for Game 2 of Carolina or the Rangers against Tampa Bay in the East Final. So 2 BetCasts this week. Game 1, Colorado, Edmonton, Tuesday night. And then on Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we will be on for a live BetCast for Game 2 of the East Final. Tampa Bay versus the winner of Carolina and the New York Rangers. So there we go. All right, let's
let me add, I actually am joining the BetCast as well next week.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, my schedule a little bit changed now, so I will be back in action in BetCast.
There we go. That's excellent. Good to hear that. Alex B. Smith has already said he's going to be on the 2 BetCasts this week. He's got his birthday the following week, and he'll be traveling the following week. So the following week, he'll be out for the BetCasts. But Alex B. Smith will be on the BetCasts this week, both of them. Tuesday night for Colorado, Edmonton, Game 1, and Friday night for Carolina or the Rangers versus Tampa Bay. That'll be Game 2 of that series. So looking forward to those two. And one of our previous guests on the show this past month is going to be joining us on one of the BetCasts, the Tuesday night one. Ray Bryce plans to join us on Tuesday night for the BetCast, Colorado and Edmonton. So looking forward to all of that. Let's get to business and look back first at last night. And, you know, I didn't even have a bet on Colorado in the series or to win the game last night. I didn't bet aside. The only pregame bet I made was the losing wager with the over, which, look, give them credit. I mean, the goaltending was spectacular. You know, there were certainly a bunch of chances. It's not like you had a dead wrong side with the over. There were a million chances in that game, but it ended up being just 5 goals. But even with someone that didn't bet Carolina or Colorado last night, I was just so happy for this team. I was so happy for Nathan MacKinnon, for Gabriel Landeskog, for Mikko Rantanen, and even for the head coach, Jared Bednar, who I'm telling you right now, he might be looking for another job if somehow Colorado had spit the bit and blown this series and collapsed and lost in 7 games. I'm telling you, there's no way Jared Bednar was going to survive that. So this was very important, obviously, for him, for the team. This has been an albatross around their neck, kind of like not getting out of the first round has been an albatross around the Toronto Maple Leafs neck for years and years and years. And now finally we can put that aside and we can stop questioning whether this team can find that killer instinct, can find that ability to put away an opponent. They finally did, and especially in this round, the second round, they finally did that, and credit to them. They gave St. Louis a taste of their own medicine, right? The St. Louis Blues came back in the third period against Colorado in Game 5, eventually winning in overtime. And last night, the Colorado Avalanche turned the tables. They were down 2-1 going into the third period. They tie the game. JT Compher, I'll tell you what, with all the with the offensive series that both Nathan MacKinnon had, that Nazem Kadri had, we saw obviously Nichushkin's been an offensive force. Cale Makar, Devon Taves have chipped in from the blue line. When you look at all the players that have Landeskog that have that are the players that carry the Colorado team offensively, I don't know if anyone on their bingo card last night had JT Compher and Darren Helm being the stars offensively for the Colorado Avalanche last night. But obviously 2 goals for JT Compher for the Avs last night, 2-2. And, of course, just an unbelievably stunning end to the game, stunning end to the series. A brilliant shot by Darren Helm. I think we got to give that guy a lot of credit. He only plays on the fourth line. He stepped into that. He basically took the carom off the boards. It came right up onto his stick, and he just one-timed it. He didn't hesitate, and it was a perfect shot right into the corner, past Ville Husso. He really didn't have much of a chance. 5 seconds to go, and the Colorado Avalanche win the game, win the series, and for the first time in the MacKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog era, they're on to the conference finals, and they deserved to win that game last night. They controlled the play. They heavily outshot the St. Louis Blues. If not for Husso, especially in that first period, things could have been much different. So congrats to the Colorado Avalanche. That was a massive step forward in their growth, in their development, and in this team's ultimate, goal of trying to win it all. A team that's just, this second round has just been absolutely their downfall year after year. And now they finally get past this round and are on to the conference finals. And as I said, to set up what every NHL fan, every hockey fan around the globe is just dying with anticipation and excitement for this series coming up in the Western Conference Finals, Colorado and Edmonton. It's got the potential to be an absolute classic. Now watch it be a 4-0 sweep for somebody, and I'll be totally wrong. But nevertheless, no, it should be a brilliant series. They're going to hype up Nathan MacKinnon versus Connor McDavid. Obviously, that's the number one storyline. But no, we've got ourselves one, at least on paper, one hell of a Western Conference Finals matchup coming up. Vito, thoughts on Colorado closing it out last night?
Yeah, well, Colorado was better all the game, but I mean, Blues had those chances when they were leading 2-1. I mean, they had some unbelievable great scoring chances. The Kyrou with empty net, with many pauses, and it could end up differently. It definitely could go over. I think goalies played well, but there was many opportunities to go it over. It is what it is. And while talking about Husso, I mean, the goalie is there to catch the first shot. When it's the rebound, it's rebound. Okay, it's harder, but the first shot should be catched. So that was, I mean, comfort goal, short side, top. Also, it was not like a top shelf. It was like in the glove side shot. That's definitely a goal. He should have that. So I think more or less, yeah. I mean, it's still only like 3 goals, but still, Husso could play better. I think even if he played better, good, he could still play better and still maybe this one. But yeah, now going Avalanche against Oilers, we're gonna have 2 best teams in transition. I think there's no faster teams than those 2. So I think it's gonna be an unbelievable series. I think it's gonna be we're gonna see what coaches will say. It's gonna be interesting. Will they slow down or will they try to go speed against speed? Because definitely both teams can match up in the speed. I think so. It's gonna be a hell of a series. I think that definitely the team which is gonna make less mistakes, less turnarounds, and things like that. That team is gonna win.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those series where you've got to manage the puck properly.
Yep.
You have to do, especially in the neutral zone. That area of the ice is going to end up being a quagmire if you end up turning the puck over against either of these 2 teams. Because if you're just going to give them the puck in the neutral zone, they're going to just crush you with rush chances and odd man rushes. That's what, both of these teams are going to have to avoid in this series. They can't get themselves into a spot here where they are just giving their team, fueling the transition game and fueling the speed through the neutral zone for either team, because they both have this in waves. And that's going to be something that is going to be fascinating to see. Really, I think that is a crux that's one of the absolute biggest, I think, components of who's going to win this series. Honestly, who's going to be able to not turn those pucks over in the neutral zone to fuel these two teams offensively. And when you look at the goaltending, and we'll get into this more, I don't want to go too much into depth on this series yet, because we're going to have two shows, Sunday and Monday, basically to break down the entire conference finals. But, just in brief, the Mike Smith versus Darcy Kemper matchup, early in the season, it's a landslide in favor of Darcy Kemper. But I don't want to understate and underestimate how good Mike Smith was for the majority of that Calgary series. He was very good. And his goals saved above average, Vito, is only behind Vasilevsky and Jake Ottinger, who was all world for the Dallas Stars in the first round. He is third in the NHL in playoff goalies for goals saved above average. That's Mike Smith, folks. Yeah, it might shock you. It might surprise you, but it tells you how many high danger saves he's had to make, and he's made them. He's behind Vasilevsky and Ottinger, who you could argue have been two of the best goalies in these entire playoffs. Ottinger, even though he only lasted one round, Vito, that was a spectacular round of goaltending from Jake Ottinger. And it goes without saying what Vasilevsky has done really since the end of the Toronto series. Ever since Game 6 of Toronto, he's been a brick wall. He can't get the puck past him. So for Mike Smith to be with that kind of company, goals saved above average, he deserves credit.
Yeah, I also told earlier that I think overall Mike Smith is not like the worst goalie in the league. I mean, he played just for Coyotes when he was in his prime. That's when he also got chosen for Team Canada for Olympics in a 2013-2014 season. He was just with Phoenix Coyotes. It's not the best team you want to play for. But overall, yeah, I think Mike Smith is now playing his best hockey. As I said again, he has been chosen for Olympic team for Canada. So anyone who has been chosen for Olympic team for Team Canada, I consider him as best players in the world. And if we just look, I think West is West. The conference is all about offense. I think getting that puck in offense zone and scoring them up and down. And then we just looking in East, and East is all about defense. Rangers, Carolina, Tampa Bay. So we're gonna have definitely a defense teams coming out from East, and then we're gonna have a high octane offense coming out from West, which is gonna be very interesting, I think.
Yeah, but the general consensus is that Colorado Edmonton is going to be this freewheeling, high flying, up and down, 6-5 games type of series, high scoring, a lot of overs, and then a lot of people think the total opposite of the Eastern Conference Final, whatever it's going to be, Tampa Bay versus Carolina or the Rangers, that it's going to be 3-1. 3-2, 2-1 is going to be the type of games, because you're talking about both the Hurricanes and the Rangers can defend. The Hurricanes are a phenomenal defensive team with very good goaltending. The Rangers are a good enough defensive team with excellent goaltending. When you look at it, and Tampa Bay can score, but really they've been more focused on let's play great team defense and let's rely on our absolute stalwart netminder Vasilevsky, who is just impenetrable right now. So that's why it makes sense in theory. But remember, these are also a series where, Edmonton, Colorado, we think of them score, offensive minded, but they can play D. They've got goaltending when they need it. And let's not forget Tampa Bay against either Carolina or the Rangers. Yeah, good defense and goaltending, but they've got offensive capabilities as well that could flip the narrative, that
Tampa
people
Bay,
say.
definitely. Well, yeah. Carolina, you see, they're not like Carolina has one superstar line like McDavid or Draisaitl. Carolina is just balanced, as we know, all over the place. Aho line is okay first line. They have okay second line. And actually, I would say they have the best third line in the playoffs at the moment. Stahl, Niederreiter, and Fast, the guys who can shut you down. They're not scoring so much, they're shutting you down. So these are different styles which teams play. Some of the teams looking for depth in a third line to get scoring. Like, for example, Tampa, they always love to see scoring from the third line. And like Pens, when they won also the Stanley Cup, teams started to switch those third lines to more to scoring players. But Canes go with their old style. They have the third line, which is more like grinders. Still, they can make some good plays. As we saw that saucer pass from Jordan Stahl to Trocheck. I mean, it's world class, you know. And Jordan Stahl been around forever. I mean, I remember him watching in Pittsburgh Penguins, I think, with number 11 when the Crosby was young, Malkin and Jordan Stahl. That was very great lineup for them.
Yeah, I can remember all of that because I'm an old man now. So I can remember all of these past experiences for so many of these players when they've been on different teams. So definitely we're looking forward to it. Edmonton, Colorado. We will really dissect this series tomorrow and also Monday. Because, again, we're on tomorrow. We're on Monday. We've got guests. I don't want to cancel one because we may not get those guests back on another day. So we're still going to go ahead with shows tomorrow, even though there's no game. And we'll go ahead with a show on Monday as well, even if there's no Game 7 with the Hurricanes and the Rangers. So that's all coming up here in moving forward. And by the way, before we get to Game 6 and talk about Hurricanes Rangers tonight, on my television here in the background, I've got the World Hockey Championship going.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want to hear anybody ridicule or bitch about. And look, I didn't like the call for Blake Coleman the other night with the puck off the skate. I thought that should have been a goal. You know, I criticize NHL refs when I need to, and they're not perfect, but they are saints. They are angels of officiating. They are absolute gods of officiating compared to the absolute disgraceful officiating I see in this IIHF tournament, this World Hockey Championship. It's a fucking disgrace, this officiating. I'm telling you, this is the worst hockey officiating you'll ever see. The little chintzy little fucking penalties get called all the time.
Yeah, softer hockey a little bit, you know. From North America, they come, the real guys that love to play some harder hockey, go with the meat, you know.
Oh, my God. They're playing tiddlywinks over there, Vito. It's ridiculous. They're not letting them get away with anything. Come on. Let the game breathe a little bit. Let some physicality go.
Actually, Canada has not so bad lineup. They have Barzal. They have some Dubois. I think they have some great. All the players are NHL players, I think. But again, for Czech, we have Pasternak and Krejci. They used to play together for a long time. I think it gives them momentum, you know, to feel the old style together. Plus, by Malkin and net. So interesting game. But United States, they lost to Finland. That was a hard game. Finland is okay.
Yeah, all Finland does is grind it out, team games, good
like
structure.
Carolina.
Yeah, good defense, good goaltending. Exactly. The Carolina Hurricanes of international hockey, Finland. That's just the way they do it, and they're successful doing it, and they give everybody fits. Just ask Canada. Canada never has an easy game anymore against Finland.
Well, maybe now in finals we're going to see.
And that could be your final, you know, depending on what's going on. But Canada and the Czechs are 1-1 in the second period. But, yeah, I don't want to hear anybody just, you know, think the NHL refs are the worst refs. No, these are the worst refs here. The World Hockey Championship. It's terrible. I mean, it's absolutely the hockey on the ice, like, is very good. These are the good players that are representing their countries. Like, the hockey is good. But every little, you know, just a small little hit is being called a penalty here. And it's just it's insane, and a lot of times they screw it up as well. Like it's like a little hook or a invisible hold that all of a sudden they call a penalty. It's terrible. It's absolute. And I've seen dozens of calls already in this tournament that I could say, what the hell was that? That's a penalty? Are you kidding me? I mean, my goodness, it's awful, and it makes me appreciate the NHL referees a whole lot more when I watch this, no doubt about it. All right, speaking of NHL refs, we'll see who's reffing tonight. Game 6, Eastern Conference, second round, Carolina Hurricanes, New York Rangers, in what has become a very easy and predictable series for the most part because of the home teams just, dominating essentially, not only winning these games, but for the most, other than Game 1, you know, Carolina kind of stole one in Game 1 when they didn't play that well at home. But other than that, the home team has controlled every game. Carolina was the better team in Game 2 at home. Rangers, better team, Game 3 at home. Rangers, better team, Game 4 at home. Carolina, better team, Game 5 at home. I mean, it's hard to see the script changing now. Rangers minus 115, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Vito, I'm on the Rangers. I mean, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to overcomplicate it here. I think the series is going 7 games. The New York Rangers have been every bit, you know, the great team on home ice at Madison Square Garden in this series that the Carolina Hurricanes have been on home ice themselves. You look at last line change, it's mattered. when they've been able to get Kreider and Zibanejad away from Slavin and the top pair on defense for Carolina, and they've been able to get them away from the stall checking line for Carolina, they've done damage against this Carolina team in this building, Madison Square Garden. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to change here. And look, I mean, Carolina's not – you see the way they play in Game 5 the other night where, did they even break 20 shots on goal? The New York Rangers? I don't think they did. I mean, it was a defensive clinic put on by the
shots,
yeah, it was a defensive clinic, Vito, by the Carolina Hurricanes. They didn't give up a whole lot, and yet the game before that on Game 4 in New York, they're giving up a boatload of quality chances to this New York Rangers team. So it's pretty amazing to see the difference, especially for Carolina throughout the playoffs, with how well they've played at home and just how susceptible they've been on the road. I mean, the stats bear it out as well. The massive home road dichotomy, that we have seen from the Carolina Hurricanes here in these playoffs. They've been outscored by 13 goals. They're a minus 13 goal margin on the road in their 5 playoff games, Carolina. Minus 13. I mean, it's really amazing. And then we see them at home the other night. They're just in complete control of that game. Third period, that was a shutdown, put the clamp down defensive clinic by the Hurricanes the other night. And yet you see them here in terms of their performance on the road in these playoffs. Like I said, 5 playoff games on the road, and they're minus 13 on the scoreboard, in those 5 games. It's hard to overlook that. I always think Carolina is one of those teams that is capable of winning on the road, that can flip the script, that can find a way to all of a sudden, in a spot like this, we have a chance to finish it. We will. But you're playing a good Rangers team on the other side. You're playing a Rangers team that even with Carolina completely controlling that game, it's 2-1 until Svechnikov gets the breakaway to really put some separation between them and the Rangers there. So it's a situation where, you look at this matchup here, and I think the Rangers are certainly going to look to be a whole lot better. Their power play's gotten going. They've now scored a power play goal in each of the last 3 games. That's significant, Vito, because a lot of why Carolina is able to beat other teams is because they just shut them right down with the man advantage, like they've done all year. Now, all of a sudden, you're seeing the Rangers get some confidence with the man advantage. 3 consecutive games with a power play goal for this Rangers team. So, to me, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't have the confidence and the faith in Carolina on the road based on what I've seen. And what we've seen throughout these playoffs is the Rangers playing well at home for the most part. You saw them win Game 3, Game 4 in this series. You saw them backs against the wall, Vito. 2 times they were facing elimination at home in the first round, Vito, against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Game 5, they rose up. They won the game. Game 7, obviously they won in overtime to win that series. So they're 2-0 at home, as well. They're not only 2-0 at home in this series against Carolina. The New York Rangers are also 2-0 in playoff elimination games at home this year, facing elimination. They in Game 5 and in Game 7 against Pittsburgh. They won both of those games on home ice. So I think the Rangers just find a way, and I just don't see enough evidence that has me saying, yeah, Carolina's going to go in there and end this series on the road tonight when they're minus 13 on the road in the playoffs in terms of goal margin. I've seen enough to think the Rangers have it in them to do what Carolina's done at home, hold serve, and take this thing to Game 7 on Monday night. And I think the NHL wouldn't mind a Game 7 either. This is their only shot for a Game 7. I'm not going to say the refs are going to call a bunch of penalties on Carolina tonight, but I'm just saying they wouldn't mind a Game 7 in this round. And this is their only shot, to have a Game 7 here in the second round. So I'm on the New York Rangers minus 115. And I'm going to take a shot with this over, even though every game has gone under the total. It's an elimination game. It's plus 120 when it comes to over 5.5 in this game. It's going to open up if by chance the Rangers are trailing. It is an elimination game as well, and I like the idea of betting those over, especially when you can get a 5.5 at such a cheap price like this. And when you look at the 2 games in New York, Vito, they've been much greater pace than the games in Carolina. That's what I've noticed. So that's why I think this over has a shot. It's not easy to bet an over. We're talking a series that is 5-0 to the under so far. But I think if there's a game that's finally going to change that, flip that script, and finally see a game with a little bit more pace, a little bit more offense, a little bit more goal production, it's going to be this game here tonight in Game 6. So going to go over the total, take a shot here, 5.5 at plus 120. Vito, what do you think here? Game 6, do the Hurricanes end it or do the Rangers stay alive?
Yeah, well, playoffs is hard thing. Well, but overall, we know that Rangers, they play one good game, then one bad game, one good game and one bad game. So last game they played was bad game. Again, and now they should be play a good game since they are at home. And but again, when I'm thinking now, the last time when Carolina played first time Rangers on the visit, actually Carolina was a little bit better. They still lost 3-1, but Carolina was better in that game. But still, how this game is gonna go, I think Rangers is gonna be actually a little bit better in this game just because they're facing the elimination. If Carolina manages somehow to score that goal early, I think they will try to just hold on to a lead. It might also go under. My play here, I'm gonna go. I'm just thinking to go with the Rangers money line here, because well, in this series actually I have lost only one bet, and that was when I was playing. That was when I was playing Carolina on the road in a game 4. So that was I played Carolina there. Otherwise, I played Rangers in a game 3. I played Carolina in the first games. Now I played Carolina as well on a game 5. So I also think that this is the right thing, not to overthink this. I mean, the Rangers with Igor in the net. Well, maybe Igor is not like Vasilevsky yet, but still, he's facing the elimination game. He was good when against the Pittsburgh. So these goalies from Russia, they somehow, when the elimination games come, they play very well. So I think this is going to be again a low scoring, to be honest. But I think the one team, if it gets in the lead, they will just try to stay home and try to get this done. And again, home means a lot in this series, as you said. It's because of course the line change. Because when they bring the Morris at home, he can watch what Gallant do, which players Gallant puts on the ice, and then he just can decide if he needs to go with a third line or he needs to go with the scorers. And he really cannot do that on the road. And since he cannot do that on their own, Rangers are there better. I mean, and again, we go back to the power play. If you look, Adam Fox, he's the best player for the Rangers. I mean, if you just look how he moves, he's never standing still with the puck. If you give him the puck, the legs are always moving. He's changing the angles, and by changing the angles and moving, he gets the whole team moving. And you need to get Carolina team moving. If Carolina will just stand still, they will just box you out, and the shots will come from outside. So you gotta have that Carolina team moving, and that's what Rangers are able to do. They are able to get Carolina moving in a penalty kill, and they open up that cross crease pass to Zibanejad or Panarin, and that's how it works, So that Adam Fox is the key why they actually are scoring in the power play, because Carolina is really moving there. But same goes to Igor Shesterkin, I would say. You will not beat that guy just shooting the pucks from the outside, what Carolina actually did in game 4. In game 3, Carolina shot many pucks from the inside, and Shesterkin was good. And in game 4, all shots came from outside. And I mean, even if you outshoot the opposition, I mean, if the shots are coming from the outside, that's what Igor's job is. He will stop the first shot, no matter what. He's unbelievably great this year. So, yes, again, this comes down, I think, to really what kind of a score. We have to watch carefully what kind of a scoring chances are those. And if we're going to see the power plays, I mean, if Canes usually take some penalties, and if they take some penalties here, Rangers will make them pay for it. So I would go with Rangers on the money line. I think they get one here on the power play with Mika Zibanejad playing very well lately. I think Kreider gets something here. I still don't think Carolina will be on the top shape now. I think they're going to go there, try to win today. If it doesn't work out, they're pretty sure they can go home and win. And if we look from Rangers, they will be super, I think, focused today, because they know if they win this game, they can go and steal the 7th game. Because 7th, is the final game. Anyone can take it. Anything can happen. So for the Rangers, most important, of course, is to win today, and then they will see what happens. So I would go with Rangers on the money line here. I think Rangers get it done in a low-scoring fashion, like, again, 2-1, something like that.
All right, New York Rangers, and lean to the under as well for Vito with Game 6 tonight, with Carolina taking on the New York Rangers at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. As far as the player props go, I don't want to load up on player props in this game or specifically this series because, it has been a tight checking, lower scoring series. Although I think tonight we might get a few more goals, which is why I like the over. But I stick with the same, mantra that I've been sticking with lately. Jarvis and Natchez. Natchez is going to, I can't believe how many chances this guy's gotten, and he's not put one in yet. Marty Natchez, but that's coming.
Jarvis, just talking about Jarvis, that guy, I think he scores soon is going to be assistant or captain for the team. I mean, how he blocked that shot, then he comes out with broken teeth again, plays, and he's so young. I think that guy has a bright future here.
Oh, he absolutely does. He's one hell of a young player. He keeps getting better. He's got a physical element. He showed how tough he is, blocking a shot and coming right back after that. Brilliance from him. And for the New York Rangers, definitely, I think this is a game where you look toward some of the bigger guns. Like I've always been saying, let's bet Lafreniere. Let's look toward Andrew Kopp, Ryan Strome, players like that in terms of player props. But I think you could really hone in on Kreider and Zibanejad because they're going to get away from the checking line, or at least a better chance of doing that with last line change for Gerard Gallant. And their power play starting to hum. And look, when they score on the power play, who's doing the boatload of scoring on the power play for the Rangers? Oh, yeah, Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider. That's who. So
I also have to really careful actually check how the Gallant goes with lineups because, I like when he sent Kopp to line 3 and he takes Lafreniere to line 2 because, in my opinion, Lafreniere, he was a first pick, right, in the draft. So that's not a guy you want to play in the third line. He's not a third liner. You're not getting best out of him. You have to play him in a second line. You have to make the guy feel the puck with Panarin together and push down Kopp to the third line with Capo Caco there. And I think that's the best how Rangers can roll.
Yeah, I like those subtle adjustments he's made. I think that's a good point there that you can bring him down a little bit and see if that makes a difference. And by the way, if you like the Rangers tonight and you think they've got a puncher's chance to win the series, you could still get plus 340. And if you actually think the Rangers are going to win the series and steal one, finally break the home team trend in Game 7, you might as well take the plus 340 rather than bet them Game 6 money line tonight, Game 7 on individually on Monday night. You might as well just take that plus 340 that you're seeing right now. But I don't trust the Rangers to win a Game 7 in Carolina. But I do trust them to win at home tonight. That much I do. So, and I've got Carolina to win the series. So ultimately, I'm hoping Carolina in 7. Obviously, I want to cash my Rangers bet tonight, and then I'm going to hope Carolina ends it in 7. I probably won't bet Carolina in Game 7. I did bet Carolina in Game 5 on Thursday night. But if it goes to Game 7, I probably won't bet Carolina individually. Why would I when I've already got them plus 105 to win the series? I'm not going to add on or pile on. So that's the approach for me. And again, those props I mentioned, I think Zibanejad and Kreider with shots, with goal scorer prop points, all good looks here potentially. Because again, this power play's got a little confidence now. They've dented the armor of this impenetrable Carolina penalty kill, number 1 penalty kill all season. And Carolina has found a way, or the New York Rangers rather, have found a way to do damage against it the last.
Yeah, because moving the players, folks. He gets Colorado moving. Once they move, the passing lines open up. That's why it's happening.
100% true. You look at the difference. No, the puck is not stationary. The puck is not sticking in one area. In the offense,
you got players moving, you know that also. I think you have said that you just cannot stay stationary in the power play. Look at Oilers. I mean, when McDavid is driving out, he's driving around the whole zone and dropping it to Draisaitl on one-timer. So you gotta move. You gotta move your legs. There's no power play good if you're just standing still, passing around. The guy standing in the box and that's it.
Yep, no question about that. It's just made a world of difference. You have to get Carolina's penalty killers, and because they've got a bunch of they got great penalty killing forwards, great penalty killing defensemen. You have to get them moving around. You have to get them out of position. You have to open up those lanes, the passing lanes, the shooting lanes, and the Rangers have done a great job of that. And using the shot fake, they've done that a lot too.
Yeah.
The shot fake has worked really well, where they fake the shot.
Good.
Yeah.
And I mean, Kucherov, I think Kucherov has shown us the fake shot many times in these playoffs already. Passing to middle to point. So yeah, or to Perry now because Point is injured.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Braden Point, again, once we get to the Eastern Conference Final, we'll see if he is able to return for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But we got a ways to go before we get to that point. All right, great stuff, Vito. Awesome analysis, breakdowns of the only game tonight in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, but it should be a good one. Certainly, people back in my country right now, anyone watching the World Hockey Championship is liking what they're seeing at the moment as Canada's opened up a 4-1 lead.
4-1. Wow.
Yep. In the second period, with about 6.5 minutes left, as the floodgates have opened here.
Waymelka broke.
I think he thinks he must think he's playing with the Arizona Coyotes again. The floodgates are opening. Yeah. Poor guy. He thinks, you know what, I'm playing for my country now, a little bit better players in front of me. I'm not going to give up like 6-7 goals for a change. And, well, Canada might still get there. So tough stuff. But no, long way to go, though. Czechs can score. Czechs do have some firepower. So it's not over yet, but definitely Canada up 4-1 there in the second period of
It's a surprise that Canada is there to tell, because if we just watch how it was against Sweden, they were trailing 3-0. I think it was like,
they were on death's doornail there. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing comeback.
Yeah. Yeah, they were on death's doorstep, and they rescued it somehow with the 2 goals in the final.
That's what Canada does, actually. They come to World Championships or whatever in a group stage, they're taking chill, and then when it comes to the real deal, that's when you see Canada waking up. And that's because all players are really from NHL, and they're really playing different kind of a level hockey, so they know when to turn it on.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That's why I always say to people, and I don't need to say it because there's people that bet this tournament more than I do that know this, that Canada's not exactly a great bet in the preliminary round. In the preliminary round games, that you don't want to be betting Canada every day, because they're going to have their games where they lose to Switzerland like they did. They're going to have their games where they lose to, and they lost after that someone else as well.
They lost 2 in a row, I think.
Yeah, Switzerland, and there was another team they ended up losing to, and then they bounced back against France finally. But yeah, they just coast through
Denmark.
the preliminary round. Denmark, that's it. Denmark and Switzerland, and yeah, they coast through the preliminary round, and then they turn it on. When the elimination round starts, the medal round, the knockout stage, as they call it. So that's the way that's going right now. Oilers and Avs. Yeah, we talked a little Oilers and Avs at the earlier on, Cheshire Cat. Look, we've got a show tomorrow. We got a show on Monday, even if there's no games either day. And those 2 shows are going to be spent talking about the conference finals, including especially Edmonton, Colorado. So we're going to save it for tomorrow and Monday. Believe me, we're going to break down the 4th line right winger of Colorado and the 4th line right winger of Edmonton, all, completely and utterly and thoroughly. That's how thorough it's going to be. We're going to have 2 days to talk about. We'll analyze every little matchup, every little nuance of this series. And which has the potential, obviously, to be a great one. No question about that. All right. We'll get to best bets for Game 6, Hurricanes-Rangers tonight in just a second. But first, we want to remind you about DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $1 on any NHL team and get $150 in free bets if they win. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state, you can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy hockey contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN, bet just $1 on any NHL team, get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Must be 21 years of age or older. Must reside in a DraftKings Sportsbook state. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up for an account, and use the promo code THPN. All right, best bets to wrap it up. Game 6, Carolina Hurricanes, New York Rangers. Vito, where are you going for best bet?
Yeah, well, as I said, I think I'm going to go as a Rangers money line, but just maybe someone else wants to play something more. I think you can look also for first period, first 10 minutes, no goal. I think still teams will play slow in the start. I don't think we're going to see a lot of scoring. So first 10 minutes, no score. If you can get a great odds, I just cannot find it here in my books. I think that's a great way to look, but overall, I think, Rangers will win this one in the game 6 here in Madison Square Garden.
All right, New York Rangers here minus. Actually, it's down to minus 110, even money. So really good, solid price. I mean, minus 110. You definitely see. I definitely think there's value on the Rangers with how well they've played it at home. And you're talking about minus 110 for a team that's winless on the road here in the playoffs. So New York Rangers minus 110 for Vito with his best bet, and mine is the exact same one. New York Rangers minus 110 against the Carolina Hurricanes. I think we're going 7. Not New York Rangers, not only 2-0 at home in this series at Madison Square Garden, 2-0 in their previous 2 playoff elimination games at home. 2 previous times they faced elimination at Madison Square Garden, both of them in the first round against Pittsburgh. Game 5, they won. Game 7, they won. So we have seen the Rangers backs against the wall, home ice, and we've seen their best. I think when their best is required, and I think you'll see that from the Rangers tonight once again. New York Rangers minus 110 against the Carolina Hurricanes for my best bet for this Saturday card. All right, for the Saturday night. It's the only game, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, game 6. Someone asking before we wrap it up here, Vito, who do you like to be in the – well, we know it's going to be Finland already in the finals. They won earlier today. It's a question of – we think it's probably going to be Canada now. It's 4-1, but unless the Czechs do what Canada did to Sweden the other day. But it looks like it's going to be Canada versus Finland right now. I guess the better question would be, not who's going to be in the final. Yeah. You did ask who you like in the finals. Yeah. Okay. I see that.
Yeah. Well,
my bad.
Finland is at home, and I think the line will favor definitely Finland. And I mean, they've been winning all the time now. I mean, last year and how much you can win, I mean, they're dominating all over the place. So definitely, I think if we're gonna watch it, if we talk about the value, I think, well, there's gonna be value with Canada, I think, but the value does not bring you the winning ticket anyways. But I think still Canada, when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to the games, Canada can easily beat. But I think also one more thing. I think when it was now finals in a World Championship last time, I think actually Finland was against Canada and Canada won that time. So it's a small revenge here for Finland. So I think people will be all over the Finland. And, I think it's going to be a very close one. Finland will try to, again, play 2-1 games, something like that. And, again, Finland have, like, Heiskanen. They have Granlund from Nashville. They have, like, good forwards. Satteri in net from the Arizona. They have a deep team. But, again, if you watch from Canada, they're just getting better and better by every game. And all the players are NHL players in Canada team. I mean, deep. So if you watch, so it's going to be a tough one, I wouldn't say that Canada is not able to win. I think Canada also stands a chance. Will be interesting.
They definitely stand a chance, but they always have a tough game with Finland. Always, for years and years and years, they do. And Finland is capable. Finland, even with they have 1/10 the population of Canada, or a lot of these countries, and what they're able to do hockey-wise, it's impeccable. And what's funny about Harry? Apparently he's back to Satteri again with his pronunciation. This guy goes back and forth. Satteri one day, and he wakes up the next day it's Satteri again. But nevertheless, Harri Satteri for the Finnish team, who of course was with Arizona for the second half of the year. I don't know what this guy is. What's this guy's deal is. In the NHL, he's shit in the bed. He can't make a save, whether it was with Florida, whether it was with Detroit, or now with Arizona. He's terrible in the NHL. He's awful, and he's really struggled. Yet you get him over in a European ice surface, and the guy looks like Marty Brodeur. He plays so well.
Slower hockey, and I mean, the rink is so much bigger. The shots which come from the outside, they're not so dangerous because the rink is just so much bigger, So I think it really plays the role that the rink is much bigger, and to play great in NHL, you have to get used to that hockey. You have to start with AHL, then move on, to NHL. It's hard I think for goalie, it's hard just to arrive and play good in NHL because it's so different.
No, you're right about that. And maybe he's just more comfortable over there. And look, NHL is the best of the best. I mean, maybe you're struggling just because of the quality, of shots that you have to face every night. Maybe you're not seeing that as much over there, but no, he looks like he's been great in this tournament, this World Hockey Championship for Finland in net. It's just amazing and he was good in the KHL before he came back to the NHL. So it's like, he just must like the European ice surfaces, must just like playing overseas
Of
over
course,
in Europe.
it's so slow.
Yeah.
It's so slow, and defense is much better also, and
Yeah.
forwards are much worse.
There you go. Yeah, it's an easier playing field,
Of course.
playing field, if you will, for
It's like day
Hari
and night, I would say,
Tapari. Yeah. So there you go. And he's played well, and we'll see him in net for Finland as they try to go for gold here at the World Hockey Championship against presumably Canada, although there is still a whole third period left of that Canada-Czechia second semifinal. All right, that's it. That's a wrap for the Ice Guys. We thank everybody for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out, a reminder, and we do have a show tomorrow. Don't forget, don't sleep on it. Noon Eastern, we are on tomorrow, even though there's no NHL action. And Tyson Brower will be our special guest. He had just signed a pro contract, actually, over in Sweden. So we'll talk about that. He's going to get ready to play some pro hockey over in Sweden next season. So our guest tomorrow. So we'll talk to him about that a little bit. But nevertheless, thanks for joining us. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Vito, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy Game 6, Hurricanes, Rangers, and we will be back and talk to you again tomorrow at noon Eastern on Sunday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.